Friends, thank you for being here today. Before we begin, let me ask you something from the deepest part of your intuition. Have you ever met someone whose silence felt like an ocean calm on the surface, but holding storm secrets and ancient memories beneath? And have you ever wondered why some people can forgive anything except the moment? You betray a soul as mystical, as undefended, and as divinely protected as Pisces. There are zodiac signs. You can fool signs. You can manipulate signs whose boundaries you can test without consequence. But Pisces is not one of them. Because to betray a Pisces is not simply to hurt a human being. It is to disturb an ancient tide, to awaken a spiritual current, older than language, older than time, older than the names we give to love and loss. When your actions wound a Pisces, you are not just crossing a line, you are stepping into the memory of the ocean itself, into a place where past lives leave echoes, where intuition whispers truths you hoped would stay hidden. Long before the world built rules and systems, before we understood fire or gods or stories, there was water. Boundless, timeless, carrying every fragment of life that would ever exist. And from that water came Pisces, not just a zodiac sign, but a myth, a soul divided into two realms, one swimming through the physical world and the other drifting through the unseen. Pisces was born with the ability to feel what others deny, to sense what others hide, to see the shape of a lie before the first word is ever spoken. They carry within them the memory of the primordial sea, the first cradle of intuition, the first temple of emotion, the first mirror where the universe saw itself. When you betray them, you do not just break trust, you fracture the surface of a sacred ocean that has been holding your reflection with tenderness and hope. So stay with me all the way to the end of this video, because once you understand the spiritual truth behind the Pisces soul, you will understand why their departure is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your reckoning, and why the real karma of Pisces does not roar like thunder. It flows in like a rising tide, softly, steadily, inevitably. This is a secret. Almost no one speaks of a truth. Only those touched by Neptune, the planet of dreams, intuition, and illusion, can fully understand. Pisces is not here to expose you. They are here to awaken you. But once they walk away, the ocean goes with them, and what you are left with is yourself. Before we dive deeper into this mystical revelation, take a moment to settle in. Grab a warm cup of coffee or a soothing cup of tea and allow yourself to breathe. We're not just watching a video, we're sitting together as friends, unraveling a truth that may change the way you see Pisces forever. And if you can already feel the energy shifting, if something inside you is whispering that this message was meant for you, then go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let the universe know you're ready to receive what it has been trying to send you. Comment below the affirmation, Pisces, I honor your truth, so your energy aligns with the deeper message we are about to uncover. Before there were names for the stars, before human beings learned how to speak worship or lie, there was only water. Endless, ancient, alive. A silent ocean stretching through the void of creation, carrying within it every memory that would one day become a soul. And deep in that primordial tide, in a place untouched by time, Pisces was born. Not from fire, not from thunder, not from the roar of battle, but from water, the oldest element, the keeper of secrets, the cradle of every beginning. While other signs trace their origins to stories of conquest or flames of power, Pisces comes from the ocean of remembrance, a realm where intuition is language and truth is felt long before it is spoken. Pisces carries inside them the memory of that ocean. They don't simply feel emotions, they absorb them, translate them, breathe them in like currents shifting beneath the surface. They sense what others hide, even the things they hide from themselves. Before a lie is spoken, Pisces already knows it. Before a heart begins to break, Pisces already feels the crack forming like a ripple in distant water. This is the power people often misunderstand. What looks like fragility is really ancient awareness. What seems like softness is really spiritual memory. Pisces doesn't learn people, their soul remembers them. And this memory is tied to their sacred symbol, two fish swimming in opposite directions. Unlike Sagittarius, who walks as half human, half god, Pisces exists as a dual soul, one fish navigating the physical world and the other moving through the spiritual realm. They are always in both places at once, half here, half elsewhere, half in this life, half in the life before. They see the world through two lenses at the same time, what is and what could be, what someone says and what their soul truly means. They can't help it. It's their nature. They live in constant conversation with the unseen. Because when Pisces is hurt, it isn't like hurting any other sign. You awaken a fracture inside them that is older than you, older than this lifetime, older than anything you can comprehend. They carry a soul fracture, a delicate rift formed from every betrayal, every abandonment, every moment they offered love and received silence instead. These fractures don't break them, but they remember. They are stored deep within their psychic ocean, waiting quietly like a tide that never truly recedes. And when you add your wound to that rift, you're not just hurting them in the present. You are reopening ancient scars, scars from past lives where they were left behind, misunderstood, or used for their kindness. Pisces feels all timelines at once. This is why their pain is so profound. This is why their silence after betrayal is so heavy. You haven't just broken trust, you've stirred the deepest waters of their soul, waters that have been carrying pain long before you ever existed. Stay with me, because what comes next will reveal why those waters always rise. People often mistake Pisces for weak because they move gently, speak softly, and love with an openness that feels almost too pure for this world. But Pisces is not fragile. They are forged. Not in fire, not in war, not in the noise of ego, but in the vast, shifting ocean of emotion, where every wave has carved them into who they are. Their strength is not loud, it is tidal. It rises and falls. It pulls and releases, but it never stops shaping them. Pisces doesn't survive life, they absorb it, dissolve it, and transform it. Everything they have endured, every heartbreak they have carried, every betrayal they have forgiven, has been part of their spiritual training. They are not unprotected, they are initiated. They are trained by sadness, the kind of sadness that doesn't scream, but sits quietly at the bottom of the soul, waiting to be understood. They are trained by intuition, sharpened one silent revelation at a time, tuned to energies that most people don't even notice. And they are trained by compassion, the most painful teacher of all, because compassion requires them to give even when their hands are shaking. Compassion has cost Pisces more than most will ever know. It has been used against them, manipulated, taken for granted, drained. And yet, they continue to offer it, not because they are naive, but because they carry an ancient memory that whispers kindness is power. For Pisces, compassion is an offering, not a weakness, not a flaw, not an accident. It is a conscious, spiritual act, a gift that reveals the true nature of the person standing before them. When Pisces is kind to you, the universe watches closely. And when you take advantage of that kindness, the universe writes it down. Pisces is not here to judge you, but your reaction to their compassion becomes your own karma. Their love is the mirror through which the universe observes your heart. And when you fail that test, when you lie, manipulate, or betray someone who offered you unconditional acceptance, you are not punished by Pisces. You are punished by the cosmic law that protects them. Because here is the truth, most people don't understand. Pisces doesn't leave because they are overwhelmed. They don't disappear because they are too sensitive. They leave because their soul whispers the one message they always obey: this energy is no longer safe. Pisces does not cling. They flow. And when the waters around them turn toxic, they instinctively pull away, slipping out of your life quietly, gracefully, like mist evaporating from the morning air. One moment they are beside you, offering warmth, softness, intuition, presence. You are left standing in an empty space where their understanding once lived, where their healing once flowed, where their empathy once held your mistakes without judgment. And in that emptiness, you meet the version of yourself you never wanted to see. Pisces doesn't leave as a punishment. They leave because their soul has outgrown the wound. And when they walk away, they do not slam the door. They dissolve through it. They do not cut ties. They simply stop swimming in your direction. And when you betray a Pisces, it is not rage. You awaken, it is revelation. Most people fear wrath, but the truest punishment Neptune brings is the unraveling of your inner world. Neptune doesn't strike with thunder. Neptune strips away illusions. It makes the truth too big to hide, too loud to ignore, too sharp to escape. You don't hear Neptune coming because it doesn't arrive outside of you. It arrives within you, in your chest, your thoughts, your silence. It whispers at night. This is why the karma of Pisces is unlike the karma of any other sign. It does not roar. It reflects. It appears not as punishment, but as repetition cycles repeating themselves with painful accuracy. You don't get struck by their anger. You get haunted by your own patterns. Suddenly, you find yourself attracting relationships that echo the same mistakes you made with Pisces. You meet people who misunderstand you exactly the way you once misunderstood them. You encounter situations where your intentions are doubted, where your efforts fall flat, where you feel unseen, unheard, unheld. You drift, not because the world changed, but because something inside you has lost its anchor. That is the karma of water. Not violent, but inevitable. Not loud, but inescapable. Water karma doesn't break you. It dissolves you piece by piece until you are left with only the truth. And Neptune intensifies that truth with almost surgical precision. When you betray a Pisces, Neptune doesn't punish you by taking things away. It punishes you by revealing what those things meant. It takes the lens of fantasy off your life and replaces it with clarity so raw it hurts. The soft love they once gave you becomes a void you cannot refill. The unconditional acceptance you once received becomes a silence that echoes louder each day. The emotional sanctuary they provided turns into a cold distance you cannot cross again. Neptune is not cruel. Neptune is corrective. It shows you the truth you refused to see, the lies you told yourself, the fears you projected, the love you were not ready to receive. And once those illusions dissolve, there is no going back. The ocean doesn't return a wave once it has broken, and Pisces does not return to a place where their soul is no longer safe. That emptiness you feel after they leave, the confusion, the longing, the disorientation, is not their revenge. It is your awakening. It is Neptune placing a mirror in front of you and saying quietly, but firmly, this is who you have become without their light. And the most painful part, you begin to understand that Pisces didn't walk away from you. You walked away from the safest, most intuitive, most spiritually aligned love you were ever going to receive. The kind of love that doesn't just touch your heart, it touches your soul. Stay with me because the next part will reveal why Pisces doesn't need to expose your truth. Life exposes it for them. One of the greatest misunderstandings about Pisces is the belief that they disappear because they are hurt, overwhelmed, or afraid. But Pisces does not retreat out of weakness. Pisces retreats because their soul has completed its lesson with you. And when that moment arrives, they do not slam doors, they do not scream, they do not expose your lies to the world. Pisces exposes something far more powerful, your truth. Not by speaking it, but by withdrawing their energy so completely that you are left face to face with everything you tried to hide behind their compassion. Pisces does not reveal secrets through confrontation. They reveal them through silence. The quiet they leave behind is not empty, it is reflective. It mirrors back every intention, every insecurity, every unhealed wound you once projected onto them. Their silence becomes a tidal mirror where all truths eventually surface. You begin to see your own patterns, your own fears, your own mistakes in the clarity of their absence. Because Pisces is the ocean, and when the ocean withdraws, the shoreline is exposed. Suddenly, everything you buried beneath the waves, every lie, every avoidance, every moment of carelessness lies uncovered in the harsh light of day. Pisces reveals the soul by disappearing. They reveal it by pulling their energy inward, creating a vacuum so profound that you can no longer escape your own reflection. They reveal it by no longer cushioning your mistakes with kindness. They reveal it by no longer soothing your chaos with love. And they reveal it by stepping out of your emotional orbit, allowing the weight of your actions to settle naturally like sediment in still water. Pisces does not need revenge, life delivers it for them. Because the absence of a Pisces is not silence. It is truth. This is why Pisces never needs to make you the villain in their story. They don't have to. Life will do that naturally. Because once they walk away, you are left with all the consequences of your actions unbuffered by their forgiveness. And suddenly you are not the hero of your own narrative. You are the lesson. Not for them, but for yourself. Pisces doesn't carry you as a wound, they carry you as a message. But you carry them as a mirror. And that mirror is not easy to look into. Pisces transforms you through absence, not anger. Through quiet truth, not loud accusation. They open a door inside you that cannot be closed again. A door into self-awareness, into accountability, into the recognition of what you lost when you lost them. You start to see the parts of you that were softened by their presence, the impulsiveness they calmed, the fears they comforted, the insecurities they absorbed without judgment. Without them, these pieces rise back to the surface, demanding your attention. And here's the most haunting part. Pisces doesn't turn you into a lesson in their story. They turn you into a lesson in your own story. You become the chapter where you learned what happens when you misuse a love that was meant to heal you. The chapter where you finally understood that kindness is not infinite, that intuition is not blind, and that the most spiritual souls are the ones the universe protects most fiercely. Pisces moves on not because they stop caring, but because your soul is no longer aligned with theirs. They release you back into your own karma and continue their journey lighter, wiser, freer. But you are left with the memory of a love you cannot replace and a truth you cannot unsee. Stay with me because in the next part, we will dive into the mythic lineage of Pisces, the ancient spirits who share their energy, and why betraying them means betraying a destiny that was trying to guide you. Throughout history, there have always been souls who carried the unmistakable current of Pisces energy, souls who moved through the world with a softness that concealed unimaginable depth, a tenderness that disguised an ancient wisdom, a dreamlike essence that made reality itself bend around them. These individuals were not always born under Pisces, yet their spirit flowed with the same mystical rhythm, compassionate, intuitive, visionary, and deeply connected to realms beyond the ordinary. To understand Pisces is to understand the lineage of souls who walked before them, each revealing a piece of the oceanic truth that defines this sign. Consider Jesus the embodiment of sacrifice, compassion, and unconditional love. His message was not about power or dominance, but about healing, forgiveness, and spiritual awakening. He saw beyond anger, beyond betrayal, beyond the wounds inflicted by those who did not understand him. His heart was a well that never ran dry, even when the world demanded more than any one man should be able to give. This is Pisces energy, boundless, forgiving, radiant yet carrying an unspoken sorrow. When people hurt Jesus, they were not hurting a man, they were hurting a message. Rihanna carries a different facet of this energy, the ability to recreate oneself again and again, rising from artistic ashes with a vision no one else can imitate. Neptune rules fantasy, glamour, magic, and reinvention. And Rihanna embodies all of it. Her creativity is fluid, her identity ever-shifting, her artistry soaked in raw emotion and dreamlike imagery. She moves like water, soft, fierce, unpredictable, unstoppable. When you look at her evolution, you are witnessing Pisces energy at its most luminous, the ability to dissolve an old self and be reborn from the waves without ever losing the essence within. And then we have Albert Einstein, a mind that defied logic by trusting intuition first. When he spoke of imagination being more important than knowledge, he was channeling the heart of Pisces wisdom. His breakthroughs did not come from rigid structure. They came from surrendering to curiosity, to wonder, to the invisible forces that shape reality. His theories were not mere equations, they were dreams translated into science. His genius flowed not from calculation, but from a place beyond thought, a place Pisces knows intimately. These figures share an invisible thread, a spiritual undertone that pulses with Piscean frequency. They remind us that Pisces is not simply a sign. It is a vibration, a current, a calling. To encounter a true Pisces in your life is to encounter a soul woven from the same fabric as these visionaries, gentle, mysterious, transformative, and profoundly connected to a higher realm. And that is why betraying a Pisces carries a consequence deeper than you can imagine. You are not simply hurting a person who loved you. You are rejecting the message they came into your life to deliver. Pisces enters your world with purpose. They appear at a moment when your spirit is ready to evolve, when your heart is ready to soften, when your soul is ready to rise. Their presence is not random, it is synchronistic, karmic, intentional. They are mirrors, guides, healers, catalysts. When you betray them, you are not betraying their innocence. You are betraying the light they were trying to ignite within you. You turn away from the wisdom they offered, the compassion they extended, the spiritual doorway they opened. You do not just lose a Pisces. You lose the version of your life that could have been illuminated by their guidance. You lose the path they were trying to show you, the growth they were quietly encouraging, the healing they were helping you find. Stay with me because in the next part, we'll explore the greatest loss of all, Why losing a Pisces means losing the one place your soul felt like home. From the way their energy wraps around you like a tide that knows the shape of your soul. Pisces doesn't simply enter your life, they inhabit it. Softly, quietly, completely. And before you even realize it, they become the safest place you have ever known. They make your inner chaos feel less frightening, your fears feel less heavy, your dreams feel more possible. They love not just who you are, but who you are becoming. And that kind of love changes your interior landscape forever. So when a Pisces walks away, you don't just lose a lover, a friend, or a companion. You lose your way back to yourself. The spiritual compass they once provided disappears. The emotional safety they offered becomes a memory instead of a reality. And suddenly you find yourself wandering through your own feelings, like someone lost in a forest at night, aware that paths exist, but unable to see them. You feel the absence, not only in your heart, but in your life. The places that once felt vibrant become muted. The small moments you used to share, those shared looks, quiet laughs. The soft understanding only Pisces can give turn into echoes that follow you. You feel the loss in the quiet moments most of all. You become overwhelmed by emotions you once managed with ease because Pisces helped you translate them. And without their presence, you no longer speak the language of your own heart. You also lose the ability to connect deeply in the way you once did with them. Pisces has a way of peeling back your layers with gentleness, revealing parts of you even you didn't know how to access. When they leave those layers close again, not out of bitterness, but out of instinctive protection, you begin to fear vulnerability the way someone fears falling after they've lost their balance one too many times. You search for depth, but everything feels shallow. You search for meaning, but everything feels temporary. You search for connection, but no one seems to understand you the way they did. Because Pisces didn't just connect with your mind or your heart, they connected with your soul. You begin to understand that Pisces wasn't just a chapter in your story. They were the part of the story that made the rest make sense. And when they leave, the narrative of your life feels incomplete, like a book missing its final pages. Losing a Pisces is losing the place where your soul felt understood. It is losing the warmth that once softened your edges. It is losing the compass that once pointed you back to yourself. And the most heartbreaking realization is this: Pisces never asked to be your home. They simply loved you so deeply that they became one. And when they're gone, you begin the long journey of trying to find your way back, only to discover that the map was written in water and you can no longer read it. In the end, there is one truth you must carry with you: Pisces is not someone to fear, but someone you should never underestimate. Their gentleness is not fragility, it is mastery. Their silence is not avoidance, it is wisdom. Their love is not mere affection, it is a sanctuary. And when they walk away, it is never out of weakness, it is out of alignment. Pisces feels the shift long before anyone else does, and when their soul tells them the energy is no longer safe, they do the bravest thing a heart like theirs can do: they let go. Pisces does not punish, they withdraw. And that withdrawal is the true karmic consequence. When they remove their energy, it is as if an entire ocean is pulled back from your life. Suddenly everything becomes louder: your fears, your insecurities, your unhealed wounds. The chaos Pisces once softened becomes sharp. The doubts they once absorbed return like waves, crashing without warning. You begin to see what their presence protected you from. You begin to see what their absence reveals. Pisces does not curse you. They simply stop carrying what was never theirs. And in that emptiness, you begin to understand the truth. The harshest punishment in life is losing someone who loved you with a purity you may never experience again. When Pisces leaves the ocean recedes, you are left standing in the quiet, staring at the empty shore where their compassion once washed over every part of your life. And in that silence, you finally understand what you lost, not just a person, but the place where your soul felt understood. If this message spoke to you, if it awakened something inside you, even a quiet truth you've been avoiding, take a moment right now to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps the message reach others who need it, and it tells the universe that you are ready for deeper clarity, healing, and growth. And I want you to leave a comment below with this affirmation: I honor the lesson of Pisces. Let it anchor the energy you've received today and send a clear intention into the universe. If you feel guided to support the channel and help these messages reach more souls around the world, consider using super thanks. Every act of support helps us continue creating content that inspires healing, clarity, and hope for those navigating their spiritual path. And remember, this journey isn't ending here. In the upcoming videos, we will dive into the hidden truths of astrology, the karmic cycles that shape destiny, the signs that bring abundance, and the spiritual forces that guide your life toward purpose and prosperity. Make sure to check the description below. There's a special gift waiting for you, something crafted to help you align with your highest timeline. You deserve happiness. You deserve abundance. You deserve a life filled with meaning, peace, and divine support. The universe has never turned its back on you. It has been waiting for you to turn toward yourself. Before you go, I want to hear from you. What part of this message touched you the deepest, and what topic, what zodiac sign, or what spiritual lesson do you want us to explore in the next video? Your voice shapes this channel. Your energy guides what we create next. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. And until we meet again, may you rise, may you heal, and may you walk forward in the light that was always meant for you.